Well, hello all my yoga friends. Welcome to Got Yoga. I'm Chris Scott, and in today's video you're going to be learning how to do downward dog. So yoga and down dog, there's a lot of questions up in the air because sometimes your teacher doesn't have time to tell you all the little intricacies of down dog. So I'm going to give you all those tips today. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel and click the bell button so you can get notified when I come out with videos every week. Every Monday I've been dropping how-to handstand videos, and I have 3 videos out already. You start with episode 1 and work your way there, and you will be on your way to a more safe, more successful handstand journey. Okay, let's jump into today's video. External rotation of the shoulders. We're going to talk about that really quick, and then we're going to get on our bellies. Anytime your hands are out in front of you or overhead, you're in flexion, and when you're in flexion, you want external rotation of the shoulders. So bring your arms up, bringing the upper arms in line with the ears. And that external rotation is the biceps turning towards the face. It's very subtle. Let's get that feeling of the external rotation that we want in down dog by reaching through your ring fingers, reaching through your pinkies, reach them up towards the sky, and you'll get that subtle feeling of you want the inner upper arms turning towards the face. And that also creates a little bit of space in the neck when you're in your down dog. So that's what we want happening in our down dog. Let's go ahead and find our way onto our bellies. And a lot of people ask me, how do I know the perfect distance between my hands and my feet in downward facing dog? A good way to gauge a good distance between your hands and your feet in downward facing dog is to bring your hands at your midribs, and with you want the tops of your thighs facing down with your feet hip distance right now. And your hands are at your midribs, which is kind of right below your top toes. And your middle finger is kind of in line with your pectorals. So that is where you want your hands for downward facing dog. Press into your hands, lift your hips up, and stay on your knees here. Leave your feet where they are. Let's talk about what to do with your hands in downward facing dog. You want the fingers spread wide. You want to be rooting your hands into the earth, that hasta bandha, hand to earth, especially rooting into the index finger knuckle and the thumb knuckle. And then this part is yogi's choice. You can either have your middle finger pointed forward, or I like to have my index finger pointed forward towards the mat. Saves the wrists a little, also promotes that external rotation. And make sure the hands are shoulder distance. Tuck your toes if they're not tucked. Lift your hips up high, so press into your hands and lift your hips high. Bring a generous bend into the knees here first. Really root through your hands, and if you are rounding in the back, like I said, big bend in the knees. The goal is not to get the heels down towards the floor. The goal is to have the long spine. So really think about the inner upper arms turning towards the face, creating that little space in the neck. You're gazing at the feet. The hands are shoulder distance, the feet are hip distance, and the toes are pointed forward. And then another common thing I see people do in down dog is they really dump into their shoulders, flare their lower ribs. And that's not what you want to be happening here, because that's going to start to create stress on the shoulders, and the shoulder blades are going to come towards one another instead of widening apart. So instead of dumping your chest towards the floor, you want to tuck the lower ribs in, draw the navel in, press into your hands, bring the weight into your heels so the torso is spilling over the hips and the sit bones are lifted high. And this is pretty much everything you need for your down dog. Hand shoulder distance, inner upper arms turning towards the face, gazing at the feet, bringing the weight into the heels by pressing into the hands, generous bend in the knees. Eventually one day maybe you'll bring the heels towards the ground, but that's not the goal in this pose. That's just something that happens with time. All right, let's go ahead and lower the knees down. Shake that out. Whew. And if you still feel like your back is really rounding, let's go over something that might help you get that feeling of a long spine. Take your thumb and your index finger, like so, and bring them to a wall. Bring the hands shoulder distance again. So the thumb and the index finger are pushing into the wall here. Then tuck your toes, press into the hands, shooting the sit bones up towards the sky. And you'll notice that might help you get that feeling, oh, long spine, I see now. But don't forget to tuck those lower ribs in. Soften the ribs, draw the navel up toward the spine. And that's one little tip I like to give. It also helps if you're slipping on your mat, because then you've got your hands on the wall. So that's the down dog tutorial. Remember, the inner upper arms turning towards the face. So if you're not really picking up on that, another thing to do is put your hands out in front of you. Squeeze your thumbs together. Hug in and down. And broaden the chest. So the inner elbows are squeezing towards one another. And the chest is broad. And you'll get that feeling of the arm bones kind of turning towards the face a little bit. It's the morning and Phoebe likes to sleep in until about 12, so that's why she wasn't hanging out with us today. But hey, if you like this video, please leave a heart and drop me a comment, say hello. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have any more yoga questions, I have a link to my website, and on the home page you can leave me a voicemail. I'll be able to hear your voice and I'll be able to answer whatever question you leave me on that voicemail on my website. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.